He wants this fight.
Brock Lesnar regularly competed in matches lasting over 20 minutes when he returned to WWE in 2012. He has developed a reputation for himself in recent years as somebody whose matches don't last very long. In 2017, for instance, Brock Lesnar's match with AJ Styles at Survivor Series lasted quarter hour, and also the SummerSlam Fatal 4-way main event went on for 20 minutes, but he also participated in shorter matches that year against Goldberg, 4 minutes and 45 seconds, and Samoa Joe, 6 minutes and 25 seconds. It was the same story in 2018 and 2019, with the duration of Brock Lesnar's matches often being very unpredictable. Of course, provided that he's arguably the foremost dominant superstar in WWE history, the Beast is typically the one that comes out on top, no matter how long the match lasts. With that in mind, let's take a glance at 5 times that Brock Lesnar defeated his WWE opponents within 1 minute. Number 1. Brock Lesnar defeated Paul London in 1 minute. In October 2003, Paul London made his SmackDown debut in a WWE Championship match against Brock Lesnar. At the time, Brock Lesnar was the top heel on SmackDown roster, and he was 10 days away from defending his WWE Championship against The Undertaker at No Mercy. London, who had only appeared on WWE Jakked and WWE Velocity up until that point, asked Mr. McMahon for an opportunity on SmackDown. McMahon agreed and surprisingly booked him in a match against Brock Lesnar. London did not stand a chance. Brock Lesnar launched London across the ring multiple times before defeating him with an F5. Brian Kendrick tried to save the man he later formed a tag team with, but Brock Lesnar easily fought off the weak post-match attack. In the end, The Undertaker appeared and revealed to Brock Lesnar that their No Mercy 2003 match would have a biker's chain stipulation. Number 2. Brock Lesnar defeated Shannon Moore in 45 seconds. Brock Lesnar picked up quick victories over Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, and Sean Stashak during his first few weeks on WWE's main roster in April 2002, but his first televised victory in under 60 seconds was his match against Shannon Moore in December 2002. In a few months leading up to the short SmackDown match, Brock Lesnar had won the Undisputed Championship from The Rock at SummerSlam, making him the youngest world champion in WWE history at the time, but he lost the WWE Championship to The Big Show at Survivor Series. After Kurt Angle won the WWE Championship defeating The Big Show at the following month's Armageddon pay-per-view, WWE began planning for the WrestleMania 19 match between Brock Lesnar and Angle. On the December 19, 2002 SmackDown, Brock Lesnar sent a message to Angle by crushing Matt Hardy's partner, Shannon Moore, in just 45 seconds. In storyline, Hardy was initially booked to confront Brock Lesnar, however he pulled out of the match due to an eye injury. Moore took his place and got off to a surprisingly good start by hitting the next big thing with a dropkick, but Lesnar responded with a suplex over the top rope and an F5 to seal the victory. Number 3. Brock Lesnar defeated Seth Rollins in 16 seconds. In 2018, WWE decided to mention Brock Lesnar's lack of passion for the wrestling business in a segment on Raw when he told Paul Heyman that he does not watch the WWE product. 1 year later, after winning Money in the Bank, WWE announced that Brock Lesnar was going to reveal whether he had chosen to cash in his contract on WWE Champion Kofi Kingston or Universal Champion Seth Rollins. Brock Lesnar won the WWE Championship later in the year, but he decided to cash in his Money in the Bank contract on Seth Rollins to win the Universal Championship at the end of the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. The match, which was just 16 seconds, happened moments after Rollins teamed with Becky Lynch to defeat Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans in an Extreme Rules match. Brock Lesnar came and hit Rollins with 2 German suplexes before cashing in his contract. Once the bell rang, Brock Lesnar hit one F5 on his rival to regain the Universal Championship. Number 4. Brock Lesnar won the Money in the Bank ladder match in 1 minute. Brock Lesnar defeated Mustafa Ali, Andrade, Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, Randy Orton, and Ricochet to win the 2019 WWE Money in the Bank contract. The controversial finish to the pay-per-view happened after Sami Zayn wasn't medically cleared to participate in the Money in the Bank ladder match thanks to an attack that he suffered at the hands of Braun Strowman earlier within the night. This led to the match happening with just 7 WWE superstars rather than 8, or, at least, that's what everybody thought because the 19-minute encounter unfolded. At the 18-minute mark of the chaotic match, Brock Lesnar's music surprisingly hit and the Beast raced right down to the ring. He prevented Ali from winning the match by shoving him off a ladder before climbing the same ladder to unhook the briefcase. In the weeks that followed, Brock Lesnar showed off a more entertaining side to his beastly persona, especially when he used his Money in the Bank briefcase as a boombox on WWE Raw. 2 months later, it had been time for an additional short Brock Lesnar victory. Number 5. Brock Lesnar defeated Kofi Kingston in 8 seconds. One of the most controversial WWE match outcomes of 2019 came at the end of the first episode of SmackDown on Fox when Brock Lesnar defeated Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship. Kingston had held the WWE Championship for 6 months, defeating opponents including Kevin Owens, Dolph Ziggler, Samoa Joe and Randy Orton along the way. Brock Lesnar, meanwhile, had just finished his 8-month storyline with Seth Rollins, which ended with the Beast losing the Universal Championship at SummerSlam. On paper, Brock Lesnar looked like the obvious winner against the New Day member. In reality, Paul Heyman's client not only defeated Kingston, but he sealed the victory in destructive fashion by hitting one F5 to pick up the win in just 8 seconds. After the match, Brock Lesnar was confronted by one of his fiercest UFC rivals, Cain Velasquez, to set up a WWE Championship encounter between the two men at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. Unfortunately, Kingston did not receive a rematch against Brock Lesnar and he soon found himself back in tag team storylines with Big E and Xavier Woods.